Hi guys, welcome to another vlog. So we'll make today's vlog a Q&A because I've been getting a lot of emails with questions. So unless I start addressing them, I'll have a huge backlog of questions to answer. So I'll address a few more questions today, and every few days I'll keep doing these Q&As. So the first question that I have has come in from Cynthia. Cynthia writes from the US, and her question is she wants to get an idea of how many questions she needs to get correct in the quant section and the verbal section in order to get a 700. So if I've understood your question correctly, Cynthia, I think you want to know out of 41 questions in verbal and 37 in math, how many can you get correct? Or how many can you get incorrect to get to a 700? There's no simple answer to that because we know that the GMAT scoring algorithm is not a linear algorithm. So whatever answer I give you will be a conjecture, but it will be a very sound conjecture based on all the experience that I have. Most people would never even try to answer this question because nobody knows for sure how the scoring works. I mean, the GMAT's scoring algorithm is one black box. I hope the GMAT themselves know how it works because sometimes I tend to doubt it. But I will give you an answer. Take it with a pinch of salt because it's not a perfect rule. But if you want to get a 700, you should try to get fewer than 10 questions wrong in math and fewer than 10 in English. That's your goal. If you can keep the number of mistakes to below 10 in math and English both, well, I'll be very, very surprised if you don't cross a 700. In fact, you should be like a 720, 730. Of course, see, it's a big function of where you get these questions wrong, what difficulty level these questions are, all that is there. But still, I think you can safely take my word for it that if you can keep your number of mistakes to fewer than 10 in math and English both, you will be over 700. So that's what you're looking at basically. Because you see, to get a 700, if I look at a scaled score breakup, you're looking at something like, say, a 49 in math and a 36 or a 37 in verbal. That will give you a 700. A 50-35 will also give you a 700. So a 49 in math, you can easily get, even if you get, say, 12 questions wrong. As long as you get some tough ones right and don't get too many questions wrong up front, you can get to a 49 in math. A 37 in English or a 36 in English can also be possible with 10 or 12 questions wrong, as long as you haven't got too many easy ones wrong. Even allowing for some margin of safety, I think if you can keep your mistakes to fewer than 10, you will be able to get to a 700. So I hope that answered your question, Cynthia. So the next question I have is from Parvez from Bangladesh. And Parvez wants to know whether he should opt for classes or whether he should prepare by himself. He is preparing for the GMAT and he wants to know whether he should take classes or whether he should go ahead with self-prep. Now Parvez, it really depends. If you ask me personally, I would never take classes. I would always prepare by myself, and I always have. But that's because temperamentally I am somebody who works best by himself. So you see, it depends on your personality, your temperament. Some people are naturally driven, self-motivated as they are called. So if you are one of those people, you don't need classes. You can easily prepare by yourself. However, there are others who need to be pushed, who need to be told, or who like to be told, do this, do this, do this, who like to be given a timeline that in this much time you have to finish so many questions, on these dates you have to take a test, because unless that pressure is there on them, they know that by themselves they won't be able to do anything. So if you are one of those people, you definitely want to take classes. You see, it's like going to a gym. I mean, you can just as well work out at home, but the reason you go to a gym is because you have, somebody over there, your trainer, who's motivating you, who's pushing you on. Even that competitive spirit comes through. When you see, somebody else working out very, very hard, you also feel charged up. Same thing happens in classes also. So you see, if you see that the people around you are putting in 6 hours of study, you're only putting in 2 hours, you naturally feel charged to, put in more hours. So it also gives you an idea of how you're performing vis-a-vis your peer group. That's another benefit of taking classes. The last thing I'll say is, the reason you should not take classes is because you think you will learn something in the class that you couldn't have learned otherwise. That's absolutely wrong. Everything you can learn in a class can be taught through different means, could be recorded lectures, could be books. I mean, everything that I teach in my class is available in my books. It's the same thing basically. There's no extra concept that I teach. It's obviously different when somebody is teaching you face to face in terms of understanding, in terms of comprehension, but concept coverage is exactly the same. So by making use of books, good books, watching free videos online, I mean watching my vlogs, you learn a lot for free. You can easily prepare by yourself. In fact, what you want to do is you want to use a hybrid strategy. So for your initial preparation, I think it's best if you do it by yourself. But later on in your prep, when you start taking full length tests or when you realize that there are certain particular question types where you're struggling, you may want to consult a good tutor. That's actually going to be much more useful than going through an entire course needlessly. So I hope that answers your question, Parvez. So the next question for today is from Craig. Craig writes in from the US, and Craig wants to know whether it's beneficial to apply in round 1 or whether you should apply in round 2. I think I did address it in one of my earlier vlogs, but I'll do it again. Between round 1 and round 2, Craig, I think it makes no difference. Absolutely no difference. Apply in any round that you want, either of the two. Your chances of getting through will pretty much be the same. A lot of counselors say that, if you apply in round 1, it shows that you're more keen on going to the school. It shows eagerness on your part. But I don't think so. To give you a very cliched answer, you should ideally apply whenever you are ready. But between round 1 and round 2 makes no difference. So it's not like, if you apply in round 2, your chances of getting through will go down. So, some people believe that round 1 is not a good idea because all the best people apply in round 1. That's also wrong. I mean, I've seen some very great applicants in round 2, even round 3 at times. Between round 1 and round 2, the AdCom clearly says up front, and not just to you guys, even to us internally, or informally. I mean, I've spoken to enough AdComs and interacted with enough people to have no reason to believe that there is any difference in the acceptance between round 1 and round 2. Where the difference could come in is in the early decision. Now, not too many schools in the US have an early decision, but a place such as Columbia, which has an early decision, or Duke, which also has an early decision, I think it's a good idea to apply early, because that definitely improves your chances of getting through to that particular school. So assuming that's the school you want to go to, by all means see if you can apply early to that school. So early decision is a good idea. Otherwise, round 1, round 2 makes no difference. Ideally, you want to spread out your schools, apply to a few in round 1, apply to a few in round 2. So then, based on the feedback that you get for your round 1 applications, you can make changes to your round 2 applications. By feedback, I don't mean the B school will tell you something. No AdCom will give you a feedback in a month. But your own understanding, based on, whether you get interview calls or whether you get no calls, you will be able to figure out if you have to make any changes for your round 2 applications. Also saves you the application fee. If you get into some school in round 1, you don't necessarily have to apply to a few more schools in round 2. So it will just save you the application fee also. So a good strategy is to spread out your schools between round 1 and round 2. Avoid round 3 if you can, especially if you are an international student, because round 3 the seats are not too many. So it gets very competitive and your chances of converting are now very, very high. Especially again, as I said, if you are an international student, because then it takes time to process your visa and everything, and you may not have so much time on your hand. So even if there are some seats available in round 3, the AdCom may not select you. So I hope that answered your question, Craig. Great. So that was a quick Q&A. Tomorrow I'll come back with a new vlog, a new topic, a new discussion. Have a nice day.